Hi everyone, my name is Sabrina, and today I will be presenting my debate on the argument that environmental considerations must take precedence over economic developmental considerations. Climate change is not a new problem, and it is no secret that it is an ongoing issue that needs to be addressed at a high level of authority. Since 1896, chemist Arrhenius noticed that humans were affecting the way the Earth operates. Arrhenius created an algorithm to estimate the extent to which increases of carbon dioxide are responsible for the Earth's increasing surface temperature. From this, he realized that water traps most of the heat responsible for greenhouse effects. Today, we clearly see these greenhouse effects and how it changes the way people live. For this debate, I will not be discussing that environmental considerations are more important than economic developmental considerations, but that environmental considerations have to be taken into account equally when developing a strong economy. Furthermore, environmental considerations and economic developmental considerations must have a relationship with one another to be the most beneficial. It has been a misconception that environmental considerations and economic development cannot happen at the same time. In fact, they have been thought to be adversaries. The failure to recognize that the two complement one another has taken the biggest toll in third world countries. Developing countries face environmental problems directly related to poverty. Since impoverished countries have inadequate sewage systems, a lack of clean drinking water, and are living in unsanitary conditions, conservation tends to be on the back burner. This fact has affected the way countries have viewed environmental considerations. Although conservation may not be a number one priority, developing countries have taken steps to change this mindset. For example, over 100 developing countries have a high-level administrative body to deal with the environment, compared to fewer than 10 in 1972. Although environmental considerations are gaining popularity, there is still a gap between the two issues. This gap is not due to already impoverished countries, but by growing economies who do not view environment and economy as equals. A good example of conflict with environmental consideration and economic development is Latin America. There are four main reasons why there is a gap between the environment and economic development. First, in Latin America, the economic growth has been closely associated with industrialization. Although Latin America has had substantial economic growth for the past 40 years, it has come with consequences. It is now recognized that this industrialization has lowered the air quality. The population growth is also high, which has been reducing the per capita economic growth. The economic gain in Latin America is also due to environmental exploitation with the idea of short-term gain without considering long-term effects. These long-term effects include dumping toxic materials into streams, rivers, and the air. Furthermore, Latin American leaders believe that technology will be able to fix the environmental issues that are present and are being created. Although technology is a powerful tool, it cannot reverse the damage we are currently doing. Not only does Latin America feel the environmental consequences, but countries all over the globe feel the consequences when the environment is not equally considered with economic development. The actions Latin America has taken are affecting their environment, but on a larger scale, local climate change can and will change the global climate. As said before, carbon dioxide emissions contribute to the increase of surface temperature. With the increase of industrialization, the surface temperature is increasing faster. Once we increase our solar constant to a temperature that Earth can no longer sustain, it will be very difficult, if not impossible, to reverse the effects of carbon dioxide emissions. With that being said, environmental considerations environmental consideration needs to be as important as economic growth. Ultimately, when taking steps towards economic development, environmental considerations have to equally be taken into account. At the rate and way economies are developing, such as Latin America, the global climate will soon reach a point when even the most advanced technology will not be able to alleviate these damages. For a country to be both environmentally cautious and economically strong, environmental considerations and economic considerations have to be of equal importance. Thank you.